Modern orbital intelligence relies on invisible beams of digital telemetry. Data is captured as ones and zeros, beamed down to relay stations in milliseconds. But before digital sensors existed, acquiring high-resolution intelligence from space required capturing light on a physical medium, miles of highly sensitive photographic film. This chemical medium had to survive an incredibly hostile environment. A vacuum exposes standard film to degrading cosmic radiation, extreme thermal shifts from blistering solar heat to absolute cold, and the mechanical chaos of zero gravity. This image shows an actual surviving strip of exposed 70mm orbital reconnaissance film. Look at the distinct circular markers running down the right margin of the frame. Because there was no digital file to attach metadata to, critical information like the exact time and orbital position of the spacecraft had to be physically exposed directly onto the edges of the film using an array of light-emitting diodes. A single mission required a staggering volume of this material. To extract topographical data, analysts needed depth perception. That meant capturing overlapping, duplicate frames of the exact same target from slightly different angles, requiring two distinct camera systems firing simultaneously. The engineering challenge is immense. You have to design a machine capable of protecting miles of fragile film from the vacuum of space, exposing it while traveling at roughly 5 miles per second, and then physically throwing that exposed film back down to Earth intact. This schematic reveals the internal architecture of a highly automated vacuum-sealed submarine suspended in orbit. To understand how it operates, we have to discard modern assumptions about digital data and rebuild this machine's logic from first principles, starting at the bottom with the raw material itself. The physical data link begins with the unexposed film. A multi-week orbital mission requires tens of thousands of continuous feet of chemical film, which translates to a massive, dense payload. On the schematic, the starting point is isolated at the base, the heavy film supply cassette, marked in green. Placing this dense spool at the aft lowers the vehicle's center of mass, ensuring stability during the violent vibration of launch. Moving up from the supply spool, the film is pulled into the primary imaging payload, these two blue cylinders, labeled the constant rotating stereo panoramic cameras. A standard lens would capture a swath too narrow for mapping. To maximize coverage, these heavy camera drums physically sweep side to side, acting like a scanner. Notice the opposing angles of the two camera tubes. One points slightly forward, while the other points backward. This divergent geometry allows them to photograph the same target from two perspectives, capturing stereoscopic data. However, moving massive camera drums creates vibration, and vibration destroys optical clarity. The structural solution is the yellow component nestled between the tubes, the delta structure. It physically isolates the delicate optical baseline from the mechanical stress of the rotating drums and thermal expansion. The bottom half of this satellite successfully captures high-resolution imagery over vast areas, but achieving this creates a severe mechanical burden, managing the rapid flow of miles of continuous film through the moving components. Capturing a pristine image is only half the mission. A high-resolution photograph of a concrete facility is useless if analysts cannot pinpoint its exact coordinates on the Earth's surface. To solve this, the midsection contains a secondary optical system, highlighted here in teal, the DISIC camera. It does not look at the ground. It points outward into space, photographing specific star fields. By comparing the star patterns to the exact millisecond the main cameras fire, analysts can calculate the precise attitude and orientation of the spacecraft to geolocate the target. Tying all of these complex optics together is a single, continuous, highly fragile ribbon of exposed film. In a zero-gravity environment, even a minor snag or change in tension could tear the film, ending the entire intelligence-gathering operation instantly. You can follow the precise route of this material by tracing the thin black line labeled film path as it snakes up and away from the rotating camera drums toward the nose cone. Tension is managed by the main intermediate roller assembly. This cluster of guides regulates the speed and physical pull of the film, ensuring a smooth transition up to the static storage bay. This midsection operates as both the nervous system and the circulatory system of the spacecraft, perfectly syncing the navigational data capture with the physical transport of the medium. Capturing and transporting the data within the satellite leads to the final, most extreme constraint: extracting the physical film from orbit and guiding it safely through a 3,000-degree plasma envelope during atmospheric reentry. This brings us to the apex of the schematic. The nose cone houses two heavily armored drop pods, designated Recovery Vehicle 1 and 2. The film path terminates directly inside the first, wrapping securely around the gold main take-up cassette. This cassette operates as a secure vault. It spools the exposed intelligence product tightly into a dense core, bracing the fragile chemical material against the violent, crushing deceleration forces it will experience during reentry. But designing this system with only a single recovery vehicle creates a severe operational bottleneck. The moment that single capsule detaches and drops, the multi-million-dollar satellite is empty, instantly turning a highly functional orbital asset into useless space junk. To maximize the value of every launch, engineers built in physical redundancy. Once the first take-up cassette is full, a blade cleanly severs the film in the hard vacuum of space. The first vehicle seals itself and ejects. The intermediate roller assembly then captures the freshly cut film and mechanically reroutes the new edge into the second recovery vehicle, effectively doubling the intelligence yield and the operational lifespan of a single mission. This complex, vacuum-sealed factory remains a monument to a specific era of espionage, an era where the only way to retrieve the most sensitive intelligence on the planet was to engineer a machine capable of literally throwing it out of orbit.